You ever seen a grown woman glow radioactive green in her own front yard because she couldn't keep her sticky fingers out of someone else's pool? Yeah, that happened in my neighborhood. And if you stick around, you'll see just how fast a suburban queen can fall off her throne when she messes with the wrong kind of quiet. Let me back up a sec. Saturday, 3:17 p.m., and my phone buzzes with that special chime I set just for the pool deck cam. I didn't need to check, but of course I did. Habit's a hard thing to break. Outside, the sun's turning asphalt into lava. There's the faint jingle of an ice cream truck somewhere. And next door, Carol Peterson is throwing her annual Look at Me barbecue, blasting the same 90s party playlist and hollering loud enough to scare the crows. My study's calm blueprints laid out neat everything in its place except for Carol. She struts onto my pool deck like she owns stock in my backyard. Floral dress linebacker shoulders, helmet hair that doesn't wilt even in a heat wave. With her are two sidekicks, all snickers and nerves, and her boys already shirtless, ready to cannonball. See, I told you he wouldn't be out. Carol sneers, not knowing I'm right there, camera rolling. Such a waste. He just sits in that dark house. She said worse usually when she thinks I'm not listening. Last time she leaned over my fence and called my place a community asset. You gotta love the nerve. My lawn's immaculate. Hers looks like a flamingo graveyard, but she figures what's mine should be hers. Thing is that pool isn't just a pool. It's Sarah's pool, my wife, my world gone too soon. She designed everything out back, from the bamboo in the corner to the perfect blue tiles. Last good summer she spent right there drifting in the water, smiling at the sky. It's where the pain left her alone for a while. So, yeah, after she passed, I kept it perfect, like a shrine. No leaves, no grime, no parties, just memory. But that didn't mean squat to Carol. To her, the pool was a trophy. Her kids started losing their ball over my fence. She popped by for sugar, always angling for a view. When that failed, she filed bogus complaints with the HOA, said my pool chemicals stank, said my pump was too loud. She lost, but that didn't stop her. Then last week, wet footprints on my deck told me they'd been swimming while I was out. I caught her watering her wilting flowers and said straight up, "Carol, I know you've been using my pool. Last warning." She played dumb, of course. Us. Trespass. Oh, please, I told her I had security cams, and that was it. No more chances. She looked at me with pure venom, spat. "You gonna call the cops over a little swim? People are starting to talk, you know. It's not healthy, you sitting here alone." That's when I decided I'm done playing defense. See what Carol didn't know? I'm not just a grieving widower, I'm a biochemist. My day job is tagging proteins with glowing markers so doctors can spot cancer cells. I figured if I can make invisible things visible for a living, I can do the same at home. I whipped up a compound in my lab, clear as water, can't smell it, totally safe. But once it bonds to skin, it glows neon green under a certain kind of ultraviolet light. Won't wash off for a week. Put it in the pool filter Friday morning. Saturday afternoon, I sat back and let the camera roll. On screen, Carol's floating in Sarah's favorite raft, drink in hand like she's queen of the subdivision. Kids, friends, everybody splashing and touching everything. My patience was gone, but I just waited until they climbed out, not a clue they were now marked for all to see. Night fell, and that's when the show started. I set up a few floodlights I'd rigged with the right kind of UV. When the party moved to Carol's front lawn, I flipped the switch. Suddenly, half her guests looked like they'd rolled in radioactive sludge green from head to toe, glowing bright in the dusk. Folks gasped. Phones came out. Carol tried to play it cool until she realized her own hands were shining. Her husband Gary came out, saw the crowd, saw himself glowing too, and chaos broke loose. "Get it off! Get it off!" Carol screamed in her kitchen, scrubbing till her skin was raw. But that green wouldn't budge. She ran outside a glowing ball of fury and stomped straight over to my yard. "What did you do, you freak?" she shrieked, waving her glowing hand at me. I kept it cool, told her my pool's safe, the tracer's just for security, nothing harmful. She threatened lawsuits, called me every name in the book, and I told her actions have consequences, Carol. You're simply experiencing yours. Next morning, Carol's crusade went nuclear. She called the cops, claimed I'd poisoned the whole block. 2 officers showed up, listened to her sob story, then came to see me. I sat them down, showed them the video of Carol's pool party trespass and the harmless MSDS sheet for my compound. It's like a die pack at the bank, I explained. They nodded, took notes, and left. Carol had to stew in her own green juice. But she didn't give up. She started whispering around the neighborhood, painting me as some deranged scientist running a chemical lab next to their kids. HOA's online page blew up. What if it gets in the groundwater? What about our property values? She spun it like I was the threat, not her. And just when I thought the drama had peaked, karma took an ugly turn. Brenda, Carol's bestie, had a big real estate event. She tried covering the green glow with a spray tan, didn't ask, didn't check ingredients. The combo with my tracer caused a reaction. Her arm broke out in nasty blisters and her husband posted the photo everywhere. This is what Liam's pool chemical did to my wife. Lawsuit coming. Suddenly I was the villain. Carol pounced. Marched the still glowing bandage brigade to the HOA president, Howard Abernathy. A guy who loves rules more than his own kids. They called an emergency board meeting, no notice, no warning, just a mob looking for a head on a stick. Next thing I know, there's a letter on my door: drain the pool, fill it in 30 days or $1,000 a day in fines. All because I dared to fight back. Honestly, for 3 days, I just shut down. The pool was ruined. Sarah's memory tainted. The house felt empty again, but then I found an old picture of Sarah bald from chemo, still smiling like fire. I remembered what she told me. Don't let them make you small. Don't let them win by making you quiet. That snapped me out of it. If Sarah could fight cancer with that much grit, I sure as hell could fight Carol Peterson and her cronies. So I got to work. Dug through every bylaw, county record, property permit I could find. Turns out that emergency HOA meeting, total violation, didn't give me the required notice. And Carol's fancy new sunroom, never permitted. Brenda's running a business out of her home against zoning. And Howard, the rule king himself, built a giant deck last year without a permit. Satellite photos don't lie. I printed it all up in black folders, one for each board member. On day 28, the hearing was packed, neighbors ready for my head. I let them talk, then handed out the dossier, stood at the mic, and called out every dirty secret, every infraction. We gonna enforce the rules, I asked. Then let's start with the board. Suddenly the hunters became the hunted. You could hear a pin drop. Howard tried to shut me up. Didn't work. I told them, dismiss your complaint, apologize, and erase this whole thing from the record, or I hand these files to city inspectors, the tax office, and the press. Your call. The vote was unanimous. Case dropped, apologies given, complaints erased. Carol and her crew just sat there, stripped of every ounce of power, humiliated for the whole block to see. I walked home under the stars, lighter than I'd felt in months. Sat by the pool, looked at the water, and for the first time it wasn't a memorial, it was a symbol of standing up. Sarah would have laughed. The neighbors' glow faded, but the damage to their spotless reputations, that'll linger a while. And the city inspectors have a long list to work through thanks to a few anonymous tips. So what do you think? Was I right to fight back? Or did I go too far? In this world, is it justice or just revenge when you turn the tables? Drop a comment. Share your stories. Let's see whose side you're really on.